Hello. And Paul Atkins of SEC fame has said something that might bring a lot of money that was here in 2017 back into crypto. What is it? Well, it might be ICO mania again. Because remember in 2017, those ICOs got so much money, and then the SEC under Gary Gensler gave him a roundhouse kick to the face, and Jay Clayton as well, and basically nipped it in the bud. Not so much anymore, because, Paul Atkins, he ain't got time for that. So this is what he's actually said. So essentially, SEC chair says majority of ICOs shouldn't be regulated as securities. In fact, only tokenized ICOs would be securities. So you know that fart coin? ICO, baby. It's coming back, and that could actually push the crypto market up. So SEC Chair Paul Atkins said most ICOs should not be regulated as securities. Now that means the CFTC is going to regulate them, but as far as I know, the CFTC is a lot less stringent than the SEC. So yeah, I think we're going to see the return of the ICOs. Only tokenized securities would stay under SEC oversight, while the CFTC would likely oversee other tokens. The change could boost ICO activity. I think it'll make it go up like 1,000%, and shift the balance between SEC and CFTC regulation. Now, this could be reversed in the next administration, but at least for right now, it's going to be CFTC and not SEC. So responding to reporters at Blockchain Association's annual policy summit, he said, "That's what we want to encourage. Those sorts of things would not fall as we define it into the definition of a security." Very good for crypto enthusiasts and coin creators that want to offer an ICO to grift money. I'm not really sure if it's so great for the public, but this could bring in a whole lot of money into crypto. I actually didn't think Paul Atkins would go this far, but he did. So hopefully, I think we are going to see a lot of ICOs in the next 2 years. A lot of that money is going to come into coins. So the thing is, I think there will be even more pump and dumps and more chances for you to get that 10x or 100x, but also way more chances for you to lose all that money. I know a lot of you will be tempted, and a lot of you are going to lose a lot of money. So I'm just telling you, it's coming. So you can be prepared to make your bank account go down to zero, because I know a lot of you are going to do this despite it not being very, very smart. His stance carries weight because previous SEC leadership, from Jay Clayton to Gary Gensler, took the opposite view, arguing that virtually all ICOs were securities. Atkins' comments, therefore, a signal of notable ideological shift at the top of the agency, one that could influence rulemaking debates across Washington and ongoing enforcement strategies. Now, the CFTC right now also doesn't really want to enforce anything, so I think we're going to be very, very much ICO happy in the next 2 years, which could bring a new wave of money into crypto. So Atkins was pointing to a token taxonomy he established last month, in which he categorized the crypto industry into 4 general token types. Among the 4 categories, Atkins argued last month that 3 network tokens, digital collectibles, and digital tools should not be considered securities in and out of themselves. So unlike Gensler and Clayton, he's basically arguing that very few things are actually securities, and they should be able to do whatever they want, and the CFTC should handle them. And the CFTC commissioner right now is also very, very lax. So you basically have an administration that's really not going to really regulate much of this stuff at all. So we're going to have ICOs galore, and that's a lot of money coming back into crypto, which I honestly think for us is actually a pretty good thing, at least in the short term. They'll probably clamp down on it in the next administration, but at least you got about 3 years. On Tuesday, Atkins stated that ICOs involving those 3 token categories should likewise be treated as non-security transactions, as such would fall outside of SEC regulations. So he's basically like the uncle that doesn't really want to watch over anything, and he's just basically just tossing it all off, which once again, it might be good, at least in the short term, for our industry. ICOs transcend all 4 topics. Atkins said 3 of those areas are on the CFTC side, so we'll let them worry about that, and we'll focus on tokenized securities. The development could mark a significant boon for companies seeking to raise capital by creating and selling tokens to investors in the public. ICOs were all the rage during the crypto boom of 2017 until the SEC, during President Donald Trump's first time in office, poured cold water on the lucrative fundraising mechanism by suing numerous ICOs. That was Jay Clayton. and William Hinman of Ethereum Gate fame, or infamous, and Gary Gensler obviously continued that policy because they were selling illegally unregistered securities, but that is no longer going to be a problem. Atkins' remarks on Tuesday implied the trend could regain popularity with or without a crypto market structure bill. So essentially, like, there's not much structure in here right now, and since they're not really wanting to sue anything under securities markets, and like the CFTC is also really lenient, we're going to see probably tons of ICOs, tons of people raising money. Now, I don't really know if VCs are going to be buying all this stuff, but you're going to see a lot of these things appear in the next couple of years. Because think about it, like, you have an ICO, you're not selling part of the company, you're selling a token that you can actually move away from, and you're basically raising money either A, to grift, which is possible, or B, to raise money for your company without giving part of your company. And obviously there's going to be a lot of people pumping these tokens as well. So we could actually have like something like a 2017 type of bull run, depending on the economy, of course, but at least something greater than 2021 because of the loose regulations. So that gives me more hope for next year and into the future for our industry, because as much as like the economic part of it, the macroeconomic part of it may actually be bad, this will attract new users. They fell for it in 2017, and I think there's a good number that will fall for this in 2025 as well. Just as a matter of speaking to my audience, I would not really take part in any of this stuff, these ICOs. I mean, I guess you can research stuff, but I think a lot of these are going to be money grifts and scams. And they're just going to have these like big ICOs because they're not like basically... They're basically not regulated anymore, and there's going to be a lot of rug pulls, and they might eventually have to do something because there's so many rug pulls, but it's going to bring a lot of money back into crypto and maybe get people excited again. So they're saying tokens are associated with decentralized networks, internet culture, or practical utilities. I don't know about practical utilities. Say tickets or memberships could therefore be eligible for ICOs. So even NFT ICOs. Atkins noted that in July that the SEC's Project Crypto initiative could also support ICO activity through exemptions and safe harbors. The Senate is still debating a market structure bill, but industry players appear to be advancing. Last month, Coinbase launched a new ICO platform following its $375 million acquisition of Echo. So, knowing that, I think Coinbase just became an even more intriguing investment. How should we say it? Definitely a very, very intriguing investment, in my opinion, because, this ICO thing is going to be huge. And you know what? I might just reorganize my 401k or my IRA and buy a lot of Coinbase stock, at least put some of it in, because this makes it very much interesting, and this can generate a ton of money for the platforms that have ICO platforms. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a nice day.